Hey everybody. Haven't really been in the right place to produce a lot of content lately, but had enough people ask. They want to see some of the footage from the November 12th hunt. Unfortunately, this buck did not get on camera a ton during that hunt, um, given just where he came out of. But the crazy thing is that all day sit was probably one of the only blessings and only good days during the entire hunting season for me. And God shone upon me despite everything more than I deserve for sure. And I'm going to share some of the footage of that hunt. But this buck, crazily, you're not going to see him on frame a lot because he just stood where there was no way to get the camera on him. And it was an excruciating time, but he stood within 34 yards. He actually stood at like 16 yards for over 13 minutes. Me waiting, hand on the bow, ready to draw back. It was a nauseating experience. Never knew if it was going to happen. At a couple times, my hand was so cold I had to put it back inside my hand warmer. Otherwise, I couldn't even actually work my trigger finger. But let's check out some of the footage from that hunt and that sequence of time as well.
So we're flirting with danger today. Really calm winds this morning. As the day progresses, it's supposed to kick up more to about 5 to 6 miles per hour. South-southeast. Presently, my breath is blowing up, and with a west wind, just slightly. It's also been kicking straight out of the east this morning. It's just so calm. It's doing all kinds of stuff. Oh, we slipped in here. Food plots are all the way on the other side of the property. And as the morning progresses, typically these deer will funnel back into the bedding areas to the north. And right beside me, oh yeah, and it's cold as balls. 28 degrees, something like that. So, I mean, it's been colder, but my body has not adjusted to this temperature yet at all. Guys, that doe is massive. I think that doe is bigger than that buck. They're still down the tree line here. She's huge. A little bit of action. Where are the big bucks?
So I'm gonna come in here with some audio overlay for you guys. You'll notice the timer's already started in the lower right hand corner. You're gonna be able to watch that the entire time. At this point, that doe hooking down in front of me, I'm thinking this is point blank, the easiest type of a shot ever. He's gonna come down, catch her trail. That's why he came down, and he's just gonna walk right where she did. You know, my shot's gonna be right around where that dead grass, that tall dead grass is, between there and that young apple tree that you see that's fenced. You can't really see the fence very well, but you can see the white wrap around the base of it. That's my thought. I'm going to be able to draw as he's walking, preoccupied with her, and get a shot. So I'm actually here double checking to make sure that the mic is still on. You at this point I'm thinking, I've been able to capture my hunts on film before, parts of it. Last November I got a great hunt on film, but the mic wasn't on or the mic battery was dead, one or the other. So I'm thinking I can check this really quick to make sure, hook back up. You can see him just barely moving down there in the lower left-hand corner above my shoulder. And that doe is still moving over there some. And we're going to go ahead here soon, and we're going to speed this up. But first, he takes a few steps, and here is where I really think it's going to happen. We're 1 minute and 40 seconds in. This is when it's going to happen. You can see me kind of flex my fingers and such, but then he just stops and immediately starts licking, wobbling his head. I wish my hand wasn't right there because you could see some of his mannerisms that he's doing this entire time. It was insane. I got to watch this deer as we speed up the time to about 5 times the normal speed. I got to watch this deer lick his nose easily 1,000 times, put his head up and down at least a couple thousand times. It was insane. He could tell something just wasn't quite right. And as I said, the winds were predicted to be coming out of where that doe and that young apple tree is and kind of hitting me just slightly off to my left. But they really, that whole day, have been coming directly from the right of the camera and moving left, which is like a south wind. And that's not perfect. So there's a chance as the wind swirls and such that he is catching just a hint of something. And, I had a couple deer come in, try to get underneath the stand, kind of where my bow's at during the day. One of them kind of spooked, so who knows what kind of gland secretion occurred there. He could be smelling that. But he knows he wants to go to that doe. And I had to put my hand back in my pocket because, it's 32 to 34 degrees, and my hand was freezing so bad I couldn't even flex my finger anymore. And I'm sitting there just watching him. The decision that I was going to shoot had already been made a long time ago. And so now I just have to patiently sit. Now, there are a bunch of people out there that would think there was about a softball-sized hole that I could have tried to squeeze an arrow through. And you know what? I bet you there's a lot of guys out there that probably would have. And that's not the right call. The best shot is sometimes not shooting at all. So I'm waiting for him to either win and get wind of me or get uncomfortable enough and follow his mature buck instincts, or for me to finally win out and him to take a few steps, or for that doe and his drive to breed win out and he take a couple steps. So 13 minutes and like 15 seconds in, I start noticing his hoof is starting to pick up and things are about to happen. "13 minutes and 34 seconds. That mature buck moved all of maybe 3 yards in over 12 minutes time. Because you remember that clock started when the second he came down that side trail. And he came down that side trail and then took 3 steps from his original spot of stopping. So for 12 minutes time, that buck, that mature buck, and his instincts were all firing, telling him something wasn't quite right. But eventually, either that doe or the wind switched enough, he was calm enough to take 3 more steps to give me and offer me a shot. He actually picks me off when you see me stutter standing up. He actually picks me off and is looking at me when I shoot. That single bevel broadhead, an arrow surged through him, was stuck in the ground. I thought I heard, but there was a lot of commotion. There was a lot of deer trails and everything up there. Wasn't 100% positive that it was him that I heard crashing, but after a while I do get down, check on the arrow, and am pleasantly surprised with the amount of blood that's on the arrow. But I will be honest, there was no recovery footage because my camera battery was dying. As I'm crawling out of the woods right here, it probably had about 2% of battery left. After an all-day sit, it was pretty depleted, and my spare one, I packed it away and I can't find it anywhere. So got to work on that. But this deer, so this arrow ended up entering somewhat higher than what I wanted to think, top of the lungs, and it actually went through one whole shoulder blade. And I'm not talking about the really thin part. I'm talking down towards the ball or the joint. Pretty thick spot, and it goes clean through one and then exits out the lung underneath the far side. And I found him piled up probably about 85 to 90 yards away. There was good blood the entire way. And what had been, and still, honestly, the 2020 season was not a good year. Was not a good season to me and Pops as far as a lot of other factors. But for that moment and that hunt, God shined down on me, and it was an incredible hunt. It was an incredible experience. And, a few of the trophy photos that many of you guys have seen with my son just make it that much better. Just the joy and exuberant happiness that he had that day was just it was incredible. So, but that's the November 12th hunt. That's the buck that ended up gracing my presence and all that ensued on it. It was a crazy hunt and a crazy 13 minutes and 34 seconds that felt probably longer than some of my hunts have felt. So, figured I'd share that with you guys, and thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned to everything that is changing at Small Acre Hunting, and hopefully you'll be excited about it, and hopefully we can deliver and upgrade not only what we deliver or what I deliver, but also the content. This is Ty. God bless, and good luck out there.